my gosh. Okay, so that was way more smooth than I thought it was gonna be. Sorry, I just happily
I just
surprised
jammed out to the intro
myself.
music. I gotta be honest, I was having a good time.
Isn't it good? Oh my god.
It's like
Okay,
you're
so
shocked to
welcome.
death, right?
I know, right? Oh my god, yeah, because of my face. How funny. So welcome everybody to Find My Perfect Awkward. This is a new segment that we are doing, and we're starting with a spooky stream, a spooky show where first of all, AJ, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm AJ Knight. For those of you that aren't named Kieran, I'm a figment of their imagination. I live in Maine and do radio. I love video games. I love to travel.
I feel like we're speed dating, and you're like, "This is what I love to do. These are my hobbies. These are my interests."
I hate
That's
talking about
amazing.
myself.
Well, you got to do it for the people that don't know you. But okay, AJ Knight, cool, from Maine, awesome. I don't know anybody else from Maine except for your girlfriend.
I know. It's funny. It's funny because up until I moved here, I was convinced it was French for fake state. Like I was like, man, it doesn't exist. It's not a state. And now I live here, so.
True. All right, so this segment is called Awkward Business. And it's basically, this is not like any other stream that this is going to be, but this is, first of all, this is us getting out all the bugs. So we have a guest today, and we were about to introduce this guest, but I apologize to this guest because there's going to be so many things going to go wrong today. And
okay. Quick point of origin. I am engaged to someone who refuses to acknowledge the ability to jinx things. So while, hey, prepare for the worst and hope for the best, I'm all for that. Guest is also going to go do some spooky stuff. So maybe let's keep the bad mojo down to a minimum.
I'm sure she has a certain thing where she's like, I'm going to get rid of all the bad aura.
Unless it gets blown
vibes, out. Whatever they call it. Yeah, yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, so quick story. We're going to be talking about paranormal activity today. We're going to be talking about all the spooky stuff because this is the first of 2 Halloween streams for Finding My Perfect Awkward. And so I don't have a lot. I have one story that I know of where I have been interactive with paranormal activity. And that is, I had a ghost in my old house in Vegas. Oh, why is that? No. See?
Kind of takes the whole zip out of your story, right? Like I'm supposed to be creeped out. And like, it was a ghost rave.
See? That's not supposed to be happening. No, so I had this ghost, evidently, according to my mom, because I didn't really have anything with it, except for when we had the house saged, this ghost blew out the sage. And I was like, I don't think that's supposed to happen. I don't think that's supposed to happen. No. My mom is chill about it.
That's kudos to her. I'm not super versed in all the witchy things. I know enough because I've been around enough people. That's bad. That's not a good sign.
I don't think it's good. No. I don't know anything, and I don't think it's good.
It's like, why are you lighting the sage? To ward off the spirits. What did the spirit do? That's not good.
I'm gonna stay. I'm just gonna stay here. No, and then my mom, I was like, okay, as long as we don't welcome it, I think it'll be okay. And then you know where the story's going. And then my mom was like, no, watch TV with us in the living room. She legitimately one day was like, no, watch TV with us in the living room. It'll be okay. Just chill with us. Do you want some popcorn? Like, Mom, stop. We just saged. We want them to leave. You don't want to be mean. You don't want to be like, yo, bitch, get out the way. But you need to be like, yo, please leave with all due respect.
That's a really confusing sign if I'm a spirit, right? Like you lit the sage to get me out, and then you're like, no, come hang out on the couch.
Come hang out.
Which one is it? Which one is it?
She was like, come hang out with us, watch TV with us, just don't hurt us. And I was like, there's a difference between wanting them to stay and not hurt us, and then wanting them to just leave all entirely.
Yeah.
What if they're not good? Like, you don't know. You don't know if they're just a friendly spirit. They're not. What if they're not Casper? Especially because she blew out the sage.
There's a great way for you to figure that out. There's this cool little board that you can move around.
No,
and you can get the answers.
no. Before we bring our guest on and we introduce her, I'm going to say that no matter what is happening, I will not even look at a Ouija board. It is in a video game that I play. I play Phasmophobia. They are in that game, and I will not even let anybody touch it because I think it's so bad juju. You don't even know. You don't know.
Speaking of which, have you seen those? Like, they have those. I don't know if they're placemats, but they're like floor coverings that look like Ouija. Like, what idiot?
They have sweatshirts. They have sweatshirts that look like Ouija boards. And I was like, I really want a Halloween sweatshirt, but I don't want it that bad.
Why would you invent that? Like, you're like someone leaving a magnifying glass or a pair of glasses in the dryer or a Roomba away from all of a sudden opening a portal to something. Like, just who invented that?
So dumb. But you know who's not dumb is our guest. And AJ, who do we have today?
This is Miss Niecole Tier, who is joining us for this paranormal one on Halloween. Partially because I'm excited to talk about some of the stuff she's getting into later tonight. She's back in Utah, where I came from, which is cool. But she was the founder of Spiritus Rada Paranormal, and she dabbles in all that stuff. It's really cool. I've actually been on a ghost hunt with her before, and I'm excited to get into the paranormal.
Well, hi.
Hey.
Hello.
You're dressed for the occasion, that's for sure.
Well, like I was saying, I was at that Hocus Pocus booth thing today, and so my daughter's dressed up, and so am I.
I love it though. It suits everything we're doing. So, first of all, can you tell us who you are? We just got a little snippet, but who are you, and what are you doing, and what do you do?
Okay, so my name's Niecole Tier, and I live in Smithfield, Utah. I've been here since my childhood, and I've always been interested in the paranormal. And as I grew up, my grandfather got me into it more and more and more. And then I started watching Ghost Hunters, and that's where I found it, is watching Ghost Hunters. And then eventually, as I got into adulthood, I joined a team here in Logan and helped them set up like ghost hunts at a local community center here that's called the Whittier Community Center. And that's where one of the places that AJ came along with us was there right before they left for Maine. And then before that, we also investigated a haunted theater here in the valley as well. And that was really interesting that night.
Ooh, and every theater, I was a theater kid in high school and college. Every theater's haunted as far as I am aware.
My experience too.
This one actually burnt down once, and that's part of why. Long time ago there was a fire and it burnt down and they rebuilt it, so that was part of it. They also had a little girl that got trapped in the boiler room downstairs, and she's said to haunt the Ellen Eccles Theater.
I'm shaking. That is crazy.
She was part of a theater company that was there playing, putting on a play at the time, and she ran off to go play, and they never saw her again because she was trapped in the boiler room. So
there's Utah. I told you, I don't know what the ranking is state by state. I just know I've heard enough stories. Utah is loaded because there's there's a train station in Niecole. There's the old Native American school that like people aren't even supposed to go in anymore.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to know what, AJ? I get to go investigate the USU building that's on that property now.
Oh, it was nice knowing you. Okay, Niecole, everybody say their thoughts. It was good meeting you.
What's the USU building?
So it's this university here that's in Logan, Utah State University, and they have a campus they built down in Brigham City, and it's on the old property of the Intermountain Indian Schools, which is a very haunted old property. It was a school for a long time they like converted Native Americans to help them into society. It was also a hospital before that for the military. It was Bushnell Hospital, and they did a lot of like experiments in the psychiatric ward there. And I actually dug up that there was a murder in the buildings there. An inmate or a patient there shot a sergeant. there on the property.
Well,
So
good luck, and
right.
I hope good luck is all you need. I honestly, so Pennsylvania so Allentown in specific, where I am, was founded in like 1790 something,
mhm.
and almost every old building that is still around is haunted, is known to be haunted. But I refuse to go. Like, there's a penitentiary that's pretty famous in Philly that everybody like
Yes,
wants to go to, and everybody
yes.
explores and everything. No,
It's my
no,
bucket list.
See,
no,
there you
no,
go. I tell
no.
you, she's going to that Native American school. I don't think there's much that would get her, because the videos and stories I've heard and seen from the people that have gotten inside there, whether they're allowed to or not, are terrifying. Hard pass.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So here's the thing, is that I'm very interested in the paranormal. I'm very interested in ghosts and spirits and the whole thing. They're my favorite movies. Like my favorite horror movies are the paranormal ones, just because they're so interesting. Shut up, AJ. Just because they're so interesting. They're so fascinating, and they could be real life, right? Some of them are based on true stories, some of them are not, but
Sometimes.
in essence, like in general, they could be based on a true story, right? So that's just like, to think, hey, somebody could have gone through something similar is like, holy cow, very interesting. So, but I haven't experienced anything myself, so it's kind of like, do I want to put myself in a situation where I'm almost guaranteed to go through something? I don't know. I don't know.
So for me, it's like they come to me. I've had experiences before I was ghost hunting, which got me interested in it, obviously. I've lived in several haunted houses. In fact, the current one that I live in is haunted. It was built in 1897, and it was one of the first houses built in Smithfield. So it's old. And when I first moved in there, I woke up in the middle of the night, and there was an old man that like walked through my room and into the wall. So it was like a residual type haunting, because he didn't acknowledge me or anything. He just walked through the room. So it was really weird. But I've had so many different experiences. It's insane.
That's almost more terrifying when they don't acknowledge you.
That's fair. Well, yeah, too. I mean, I'm not enjoying it either way. It's better than, threatening me, so I'll take that one.
That's fair.
But so, Niecole, you touched on that, and Kira and I were talking about this because she plays that game. What are some of the paranormal things you run into? Because, like, I think people associate, there's basic, right, common accepted creatures, ghosts, demons, blah 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 blah. But like the breakdown is way deeper than that. So
yeah.
like,
So in Phasmo, they list the different types of ghosts. Now I don't know how real it is and how accurate it is, but they list different kind of ghosts, that like a Reiju and an Adi or Odie or something. And then there's like 50 different ones besides just the poltergeist, spirits, and demon.
I've not heard those terms. So for me, I run into spirits. I don't like to call them all ghosts, because they're not all ghosts. Some of them are like intelligent still. They'll interact with you. Some of them don't know they're dead. So you'll talk to them and they argue with you because they don't know they're dead. Like there was one time we were at, I think it was the Whittier Center actually. We were there investigating, and there was a spirit in there, and I was like, hey, do you know you don't have to come to school anymore, that you're dead? And they're like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, yes, you are. They're like, no, I'm not. They like literally argued with me. So my theory is that when we die, we kind of, there are levels of like death. Like you die, don't know you're dead, so it leaves you stuck here because you don't know you're dead. Obviously, you can't move on if you don't know that you're dead.
That's
and then,
crazy.
so first they have to realize they're dead, and then once they realize that, then there's like the steps of working through, oh well, I wasn't done with living yet. So then they're like stuck to objects or houses or places or people, because they are trying to fix their life that's no longer a thing because they're dead. And then there's the ones that know they're dead, but they're trying to help the people that are still living, and they don't want to leave them. So that's why another reason they stay around. Then there's the ones that are scared. They don't know what's going to happen, so they don't want to move on, so they just stay here. Then there's the ones that feel like they did something wrong and they don't deserve to move on. Those are the ones that are really fun because I argue with them, like, you can go through that door. No, I can't. And then they sit and argue with me. That's why a lot of them are mad, because they're like stuck in all these feelings a lot of the times. They're not always necessarily bad. They're just angry or upset or sad. I mean, I put this way to a public member the other day at one of our ghost hunts that, wouldn't you be upset if somebody keeps talking to you after you tell them to leave you alone? You know what I mean?
Fair.
So we like to
them with that.
We address them like they're people because they were people, and we get a lot more activity that way because they respect the fact that we respect them still. Where a lot of people, oh, you're a bad spirit. A lot of people freak out, think they're all demons, which isn't the case.
Movies, to be fair, movies make you think that everything is a demon.
Exactly. Hollywood ruins everything. Don't get me started.
Okay, so speaking of which, I don't want to harm the paranormal industry, but this time of year, right, with Halloween Monday, there's all these ghost hunts, right? The towns do them and all that. So let's say that I'm a skeptic. Hard part for me to play. Let's say I'm a skeptic and I want to know what to look out for, how I can find a genuine ghost hunt experience versus something that's more so the town has some history and we're just going to hear some spooky stories. Like, how do you differentiate if you're someone who's like, okay, I want to dabble in it and see what's going on?
So my advice would be to seek out an actual paranormal team rather than the town ghost tours. Because a lot of the times the town ghost tours are like local high school students, or university theaters. And they put on plays, they tell urban legends, they're not always true. Like, there is one here that they do every year for Logan City that's like a ghost walk. They call it a ghost walk, but it's not really a ghost walk. They show the urban legend haunted places, but the stories that they tell aren't necessarily accurate. So, like, a paranormal team is going to give you a better experience of an actual ghost hunt and how you do it. But then there's also the fact of figuring out which are the actual paranormal teams and then the ones that just want attention or famous,
Yep.
I'm not going to name names. We can think of a few on TV right now that are like that.
Yeah, and some of them have been outed, sure, but it's like kind of ruins it. It's like the one ruins it for all, right? So now you don't know who to trust. You don't know what is real, who is real, and it gets. I used to be very naive, and I used to think that everybody was telling the truth. Everybody is, everybody's a psychic or a paranormal investigator and is always telling. Like, I was so naive about it until people started being outed for, being fake, not telling the truth, whatever, faking the story. And now I'm just like, okay, until I have hard evidence or see it for myself, then I'm not going to take it, which is good and bad because then I'm not fooled, right? But at the same time, I'm like, well, it's also going to be harder for me to believe the people who are telling the truth.
It's also really hard nowadays because it's so easy to fake videos and photographs with all the apps and the digital photoshops and all of that. So it makes it really hard for people that are actually trying to find actual evidence of things, I do have a picture of a shadow figure that we caught at the Whittier Center in a mirror. And it actually was one of our public members that came to the ghost hunt that caught it on their camera phone.
Oh, wow.
And send it to us. And we were like, okay. And we tried to recreate it. So one of the things, my team, so I used to be on a different team and we butted heads a lot for that reason. Like, they wanted everything to be paranormal. They didn't like debunking stuff. They kind of faked stuff a lot. And that's why I was like, no more. I'm going to start my own thing. So we started our own team, and our goal is to help people. We like to create peace for everybody. So when somebody calls us and says, help, my house is haunted, or help, my business is haunted, we go in there and try to help them and figure out what the heck's going on. And sometimes it's not paranormal. Sometimes it's their pipes are broken and they need them fixed. Sometimes their wiring is bad and they need to get it fixed. So we actually end up helping people in other ways, not just, oh, you're haunted or not haunted. Right. But in the process of debunking things or learning, what's fake and what isn't, we still have stuff happen that we can't explain. And we actually recently had this happen. So there's this coffee shop here in Logan that's part of a park now. Do you know where the batting cages were, AJ, over at Willow
Yeah.
Park?
Yeah.
So the little concessions booth that's there, they've turned it into a coffee shop now. And
Gotcha.
when they were remodeling, she started getting weird activity there. They have doors open and shut by themselves. Doors lock them in the building, like, or in the room.
Wow.
We've caught, when we went there to investigate for her, there's like this outdoor motion light that'll turn on by itself when nobody's around, and we've tried to trigger it when we're inside the building and
Ooh.
can't. And so we're like, okay, that's strange, and they'll do it in response to us asking them to. I have videos of my teammate Nick. He asked them, hey, if that was you, do it again, and it turns on right when we ask it to. And then we also have security camera footages from her, her security cameras. She caught a fan, like their ceiling fan on the wall, or on the ceiling, I mean. It was off, like, overnight, nobody's there, and it just spins slowly when there's nobody there. And I'm just like, that's interesting. You know what I mean? The other night, last weekend, actually. No, it wasn't last weekend. She was sick, so we had to cancel. But the last time we were there, so it's a batting cage, and she has a bunch of helmets that are there sitting there on a refrigerator. They're stacked up with meat and stuff. And we're sitting there getting ready to go, and I'm on the floor putting my stuff in a bag, and all of a sudden this helmet comes flying at me out of nowhere. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? You know what I mean?
You said you wanted something thrown at you, Kira.
Okay, here's the thing, is that I've heard so many stories in real life about things being thrown at people, and I am terrified of it. So 2 things with that. One, my best friend actually has a ghost right now in her house, and she had her other friend had a vase thrown at her in that house. And I was like, oh, and she's like heard her name be called and stuff, and it's very creepy. So when I went to go stay over there like a week ago, I was scared. And my second thing is, if we're scared and if we're like, no, please just don't interact with me. Please don't bother me. Just let me be here. Is that like influential? Do they actually most of the time listen to that, or are they still interactive?
It depends on the entity. It really does. Sometimes they'll listen. A lot of them will, especially if you're really firm about it. But if you're at all scared, they can kind of prey on that. Does that make sense? So it just
I don't like the
depends.
way you phrase that.
They prey on it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get, because the stories I've heard, there's very mischievous spirits out there. So if you say you're afraid, they're just going to eat that up. Kira, you should get her opinion on the story you told right before we got her on.
On which story?
The blowing out the sage.
Oh my god! Yes. Okay. So
that is a bad sign.
Yes. So the blowing out the sage. Oh my god.
Okay. So sage can only get rid of certain things, and some of them just laugh at it. I'll just tell you that right now.
That's terrible news. Terrible news.
Is that including spirits, like regular human spirits? They're like, you know what? I don't want to go. I'm just gonna blow this out.
Yep. Some of them are just like, this isn't gonna work. And they just blow it out.
Oh, man.
Well, at least I know that it wasn't like a bad entity, but at the same time, like I'm sure she was just laughing at us because my mom then invited her to stay and was like, yeah, watch TV with us, blah, blah. And I'm like, Mom, I don't want her to stay. Politely, not mean, politely ask her to leave. Please.
One of our rules of our team is that we don't invite things to people's locations ever. So when we're investigating somebody else's home or place of business, we don't invite our own personal spirits with us. A lot of the times they'll come with us. Like I have spirit guides that talk to me or help me out, and they're there with me, but I don't say, hey, yeah, come on in and stay with these people. You know what I mean? They leave with me when I leave.
That's common sense. That seems like common sense to me. Oh my gosh. All right. So we have on Twitch, we have a comment section and we can interact in real time. So Rad says, OMG, Kira is spooky. Yes, I am. You're like, you're dressed up for the occasion because you're somewhere where you can be. AJ's just boring.
I
I like your face. It looks good.
Thank you. I was gonna just do the mouth, but I ended up being the whole face. Thank you very much. Used to be naive. Well, hello, people. Hello, D-Zapped.
What's up?
We
Hello.
are talking paranormal right now, and it is so exciting. Niecole is in Utah right now, and she's actually somewhere where you said you were reading tarot cards?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be helping or doing a booth for the coffee shop owner that we're helping. So we do ghost hunts for her for October, and she got COVID, and so
Ooh.
I'm running the booth for her because she can't be out in public, obviously.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh.
And
And-
tonight is our last night of ghost hunting for her for like the public, but we've got kind of like a business partnership with her now, and so she is working with us. Like she invites us over all the time. She likes us. She really likes to ghost hunt, I think, and so she invites us out to come and ghost hunt with her. So
I love that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
it's really good training for my team. It really is.
For as much as I am spooked out legitimately of something I'm interested in, which is so weird, I still, it's on my bucket list to go on a ghost hunt
You should
at least once
Yes.
in my life. But I am spooked.
go
So
with trained professionals because
So
A,
trained professionals.
yeah, it feels much more safe if stuff happens as explained it, and B, they have all the cool gadgets and gizmos that help
Yes.
you interact with the spirits.
Yes, and we do when we do our ghost hunts with public, what we do is we like split them into groups and then they all have investigators with them. So you're not by yourself and you have people that know what they're doing with you and they can explain how they do it and then they can tell you, "Oh, that was this or this was that."
Yeah.
And it helps not be scared so much of it too. Cuz it's kind of funny. You'll hear me, we'll be in there, we'll hear a noise. What was that? Oh, it was just the door. And then I just brush it off and keep going. You know what I mean?
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
it's just a door.
Calm. Calm.
Oh my gosh, that makes me feel a lot better, especially if there's somebody there that can make me calmer and that can like make the whole attitude of the room a little bit less timid. But I need to get over the initial fear of, okay, I'm gonna go into a building that's haunted or whatever the case, and I'm like, okay, let's go, and then I'd be okay.
So even though I've been doing this like 10 years, I still get those nerves, especially at new buildings that I haven't done yet.
Sure.
Well, because you don't know.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
buildings you haven't done yet, you don't know what's in there or who's in there.
And sometimes the ones that I do know can even be scary and terrifying because it changes energy each time we do it. So the Whittier Center is got a lot of really crazy activity in it. And over the years, I have been to this place probably over 100 times at least. And every time we go there, we have a different experience. So sometimes it's really positive, and sometimes it's like, oh no, not today.
Ooh, yeah, no. One thing gets shut behind me, and my chills go up my spine. I'm like, yeah, no, not for me.
Well, the last time we did the Whittier Center, which was in September, we were in the basement in the boiler room, and there's a storage room that's down in this building that used to be a coal, like where they stored the coal for the heaters back when it was a school. It was originally a school. It was built in like 1901. It's like 100 years old. It's over 100 years old. And so we went in the basement, we were investigating, and there's this spirit down there that's like a shadow man, and he's kind of mean to people. Like we'll go down there and he'll pull people's hair or touch people or tell them to get out and stuff like that. But over the years, he's gotten to know us, and he's not quite as mean to us because he knows us, He's just kind of like, I hate people, get out of my space type of entity.
Like, get off my
Who
lawn,
can't
type of
understand
guy.
that? Yeah, who can't understand that?
The
Yeah.
last time we went in there, so Nick and Josh, which are the two guys that are on my team, they decided to go into the storage room, which is sometimes really creepy. I'll just admit it. I have a hard time going in there
It
alone.
is.
And so I'm like, I'm going to be brave and I'm going to go in with the boys today. And it was not a good idea that time. So we went in there. We were filming with our full spectrum camera and watching, and all of a sudden we watched this shadow white figure run out from behind a box, and then it runs at us like it chased us out of there. And
Done.
all three of us said nope, and we all ran out. And we don't do that. We don't normally run away. So that time it was like, whoa, what the heck just happened? You know what I mean? And we replayed the video like 4 times because we're just still trying to figure out what it was we saw, you know? And
Yeah.
but after that night, both me and Nick had scratches on us that were not there when we went there. So we both got scratched that night too. So whatever
That would be
was
my
there,
first and last. No.
yeah. So the thing
Nope.
is, one of our rules is don't go looking for something you don't want. So that's what I tell the boys. It's like if you're gonna go provoke, then be prepared to get reaction that you
That's a
don't
good
like.
point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
no.
I got what I asked for because I went in there and we bugged him. So I was just like, we deserved it. You know?
I guess. Well, it all goes back to you can't really blame them because they tell you to
Nope.
leave. They tell you if they get
Yeah.
aggressive, then you're like, okay, now I'm just here and torturing myself because
Exactly.
even though I know, yeah.
Yep. Sometimes we'll use that though. Sometimes we use it as a trigger. We'll say, hey, if you do this, we'll leave. And a lot of times it motivates them to do something more so that we get out of there. And it works. So we've used that
Fair.
before to get activity.
I mean, that's fair. Still, though, it's like you're kind of you're using them, and they're like, oh well.
Yep.
It's clearly an easy sell for Kira now after hearing that there's shadows that'll run at her and she'll get scratched. Like she's in, right? Horror movies, your genre. You're good to
Okay,
go.
I love horror movies. I know they're not your thing, AJ. I love horror
Ooh.
movies.
But I
love
love ghost hunts, so
paranormal.
go figure.
I love the dramatic.
I like scary movies that are like more realistic. I don't like gory movies.
Oh,
So I
no,
like
Yeah,
gory
more
is my best.
gory.
actual horror movies, not like slasher flicks.
Right. I need a jump scare. I don't
Yeah.
like the gore. I don't like all that. It is very unrealistic. That's why I like the paranormal because even though it might be dramatized, which I'm sure most of them are, it's still more realistic than like Jason.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, my favorite scary
13
movie.
Ghosts.
Oh,
my
I
God.
love that one. That's a
So,
classic.
I haven't seen 13 Ghosts. I like the
Are you
Conjuring
kidding me?
series. I haven't seen 13 Ghosts. So listen, I'm going on a Halloween movie, a scary movie binge
You have
tonight
to
and
see that.
tomorrow. So I'll watch it. I will watch it. But I like the Conjuring series, except for Conjuring 2 and Annabelle Comes Home. Those were kind of dumb. But I like all the other ones. And then I like As Above, So Below.
I liked that. That was good.
You haven't seen As Above, So Below, AJ?
No, of course not. The only reason I was celebrating is because I actually 13 Ghosts is one of my favorite movies. And so this is your genre, but I was so quick to answer and she loved it and you hadn't seen it. So I was just taking the victory lap.
AJ, what's your favorite character in that movie?
I mean, I love Matthew Lillard's character in that movie. I mean, how can you not? I feel like he gets I don't want to give it away, but he gets the full art.
Okay, so what's the premise of the movie? No spoilers, but what's the premise?
So this guy, is it eternal life? Is that what he's seeking? I can't remember what the solution is. Or is it, yeah. So the guy's seeking eternal life, and there's this whole prophecy that you have to capture these 13 basically pylons of spirit. Like there's a lover, there's a scorned, an evil one. So you have to catch these ghosts. And there's one of them is a lost love, and it ties in a family that ends up coming there. And it's a special house that's designed to keep them contained to unlock this ability. But then, of course, much like all movies, someone opens the doors.
And it gets broken.
That's so dumb. That's another thing that's dumb about, yes, Pork Chop. Yes, it is very good. But that's another thing about scary movies is that, like, when you see that, you hear a knocking at the door, you hear footsteps, you're like, let me go follow the sound. Let me go open this door.
You never get out of the car.
That's not what you do. That's how people die.
So that's how we ghost hunt, though. When we hear noises, we chase the noises.
Every ghost hunt is the beginning of a horror movie.
I'm sorry, but we should just stay in one room, and then if we get nothing, we leave. That is my philosophy. Because if I hear footsteps above me in the attic or below me in the basement, I'm like, this is a setup. Like in every scary movie about ghosts, it's always in the attic or in the basement, mostly in the basement. Like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You don't hear one in the kitchen. There's nothing in the kitchen.
I don't know. I've seen some pretty crazy ghosts in people's kitchens before, too.
I mean, in real life, I'm sure. In real life, I'm sure. But not in movies. In movies, it's like the basement. You walk down and it's like pitch black. The lights go out. Then you hear footsteps.
Did you ever watch the Amityville horror one?
Yes.
So the ghost in the kitchen that rearranges the magnets on the refrigerator.
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
how that's based on a true story. How
Yep.
realistic is that? Is it
It's
pretty?
not. It's
Not
not
at all.
anywhere near
I
the
didn't think it
story.
was. I didn't think it was.
I mean, it is based on a haunting in that house, like the Amityville house, but it's not like the story, the whole story.
Oh, sorry, random thought. What's is it not Windsor, Wingate? What's the house of the lady, the family that built the guns? I
Oh, the
visited that house.
Winchester Mansion.
Yes.
Winchester
So
Mansion.
I've been to the mansion. We didn't go inside of it. What do you know about that? I'm sorry. They're just now we're talking about it. They
So-
made
We'll
a movie
circle
about
back
it.
to Amityville because I have a question about that. But go ahead.
Okay,
The
yeah.
Winchester Mansion, so that's actually a true story. I think they made a movie about it now.
Yeah, they
Um,
did.
But what happened is the wife of the guy that created the guns
Yes.
had the spirits come to her that were killed by his guns and
Right.
told her that if she didn't build onto this house that they would kill her. So she keeps building onto these houses
massive.
constantly to keep
Yes.
the ghosts lost so they can't find her.
It is a massive. I gotta tell you, we didn't go in and take the tour, but the energy on the property, even though it's this big tourist hub now, is weird. I wouldn't say I felt dreary. I did not like being there.
Yeah, I saw a virtual tour of it during the COVID pandemic. They did a virtual tour online, and so I got to see it like that way. And it's so crazy because there's like stairways to nowhere and tiny doors and random windows
It's
and
massive. Yeah.
like there's so many bedrooms. They said there's like 25 bathrooms. It's so crazy. It's such a crazy building.
Didn't she pass away?
Yes.
And they keep building on it
They
even
keep
after
building.
she passed. Yeah.
Yep, it was
That's
in her.
crazy.
I think it was in her will. I think that she wrote in her will that they need to keep building on it. So,
Well, I mean, if she has any children that stay there, I'm sure that that'll pass along to them because it'd be like,
Yeah.
just
Mom,
keep building.
Mom leaves haunted house. Yeah, no thanks. I'm good.
Haunted house
Thanks, Mom.
with who? God knows how many ghosts are there or spirits are there.
Burn
Like,
it. I'm
my
good.
goodness.
Burn it to the ground. We're good. We're good.
Well, that's another thing that brings up another good point. We'll circle back to the other movie, but that brings up another good point is if you burn something, is that really a way to get rid of something, or does it just move on to another host building?
depends.
Or
It depends. It depends.
it depends on the entity, or
Yeah, it depends on the object that you burned. It depends on why you burned it. It depends on what's attached to it. For instance, if it was a spell work that somebody did and you burned it, sometimes it works to burn it, but usually it doesn't unless it was the person that created the spell. So, if, for instance, if I did spell work, because I do witchcraft, I'm a witch too, and when you do a spell bottle and you have to be the one that undoes it. If somebody else tries to break it, it actually just puts the spell work onto them. So it is kind of like spilling it onto you when you burn it. Does that make sense?
Don't do that then.
yes.
So
No.
it's like it's not yours to undo, it's theirs to undo.
Gotcha. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I have no intention of messing with any of
But,
that
like,
because I don't trust myself.
You can burn something that is something is inhabiting, and then it would definitely move to something else. Does that make sense? Like, because if it depends on what kind of entity it is. If it's like a person that's attached to the object itself, they might just stay lost after that. And then you.
Bad.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because that was their point of reference to not be lost when they died, is that object.
So if they were like to burn down the Winchester house,
The
all the
wife would
spirits would just go
probably be lost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
See,
they're already
that doesn't-
lost. They're kind of trapped in the house.
They're
Okay.
trapped and lost now that they would just be roaming and
Build
lost.
a
Which
glass
one is
dome
better?
around it then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A glass
that's why
dome.
That's why you have to cross spirits over, because they get lost and they get confused, and so you're just helping. It's basically by like being a therapist for ghosts.
Just for ghosts.
That makes sense.
It does.
The funny thing is the name of my team means spirit coach in Latin, so we coach spirits.
Well,
I mean, that's fair.
It makes sense, right? Because generally the only reason a spirit would tie over, and I know you got into this a little bit earlier, is because they feel like there's some unfinished business, or there's some reason for them to still be here.
Yep. And then there's the kind that are just residual, where the energy is just trapped. And it's kind of like a record player, where you know how records, you ingrain the music into the vinyl. And if it gets a scratch, it bumps over and over and over and over.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like that.
I agree with this. I agree with this
Ghost
comment.
therapy. I like that. Ghost therapy would be a good band name.
I think that'd be so cute.
It's good.
Be like
I like it.
indie.
So
Oh yeah. Yes.
another thing that we've learned, like investigating, is that spirits travel by trains. They tell us about this train that they get on, and they buy tickets. And I'm like, how do you buy tickets? Do you have jobs? And they're like, well, yeah, I guess. They don't know how to explain it. You know? And
So many questions.
I know, right? And so there's like
Encanto's legit.
and so whenever we like are listening to them on, like, we have like a spirit box that we use, and we hear this train all the time, and we're like, what the heck? We hear this train everywhere we go. And they're like, oh, that's our train. We travel on it here. And I'm like, so you travel by trains? And they're like,
What
yeah.
does that mean? What does that mean though? Travel by
I don't
train?
know. I think it's like an energy. You know how in Harry Potter they travel through the fireplaces? Like it's like an energy portal.
Yes.
So I think it's like that. I think it's like an energy portal, but they see it as a train because that's what makes sense to them.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, so it's really just a portal.
I'm curious about this job thing though that they're
I
buying.
know. How do they
wanna
get the
know what
money?
that-
They're like,
yeah.
oh, we don't know how to explain our job.
I'm still asking questions because I try to get them to answer it, you know, and they don't always answer it. Sometimes I get half answers. Sometimes they just stop in the middle of talking, and I'm like, hello, are you still there? You know,
That's interesting.
That is so fascinating. Their portal, they describe it as a train.
Yes, so that's why our we have this logo. It's on my shirt. I don't know if you can see it. See the lantern? So
Yeah.
it's like a train lantern. That's
Yeah.
where we got it from. We learned about that.
Oh,
So it's a train
okay.
lantern. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I don't know, the guiding light principle too, I think. Like the light, that's how they find the door to get over to the other side. It's a light.
Right.
So,
Right.
so I tell them,
Oh,
yeah,
I get it.
yeah.
Man,
So,
it'd be a real pain in the butt if for whatever reason you were a spirit because you had some bad involvement with a train, and then the way you get back to the world is
it's on a train.
like a residual fear there, and you're like, I can't. Every time
I
you're
can't do it, but
can
here
do
I
it.
see a
can do
train
it.
light coming at me.
Yeah, that'd be the worst.
But yeah, so that's kind of, they tell us that, and I'm like, that's interesting. Like, is that all the case? Like, is that how they travel all the time, or is it just some of the time? Or
That's what I was thinking. Is it
we have so many
every
questions.
spirit? Like, yeah, is it every spirit? Is it every entity? Because then that would be, they can go back and forth through portals. Then it's so fascinating to me. And like, how many tickets do you need? Do you have to buy a ticket every time you want to go to a
I
different?
have no idea,
dimension?
but it's funny too, though, because we've heard the like conductor even yelling, "Time to go, schedules, need your tickets,"
That's crazy.
that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, what the heck? So weird.
Through your spirit box?
Yeah.
Whoa. I'm so fascinated by that. Like that's very normalized.
That would, in a way, not necessarily, but that would further, right? That would be his job. It would be super interesting to find the point that he comes through to talk to him, or does he never come through?
Yeah, who
and
is
he
that
exists
guy?
solely in the background because that's so interesting.
Have you ever talked to that guy?
I haven't talked to him ever directly, and I think it's just because he's busy working. You know what I mean? He's not going to stop talking to us.
Working.
Yeah,
How do
working.
you get a job in the afterlife? Like, I don't
You know what? I kind of wonder if sometimes it's kind of a mirror of this life. So if you were a factory worker in the other life, you're going to stay a factory worker. Does that make sense? Like,
the poor afterlife. I'm never going to shut up.
I mean, that would explain a lot. There's a lot of workplaces that are haunted by former workers. So it makes sense, you know.
Bastards.
But these are all theories, you know. We hear this stuff and we're like, is it our imagination or is it something? Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
we still question, okay, are we like just hearing things sometimes? And that helps us kind of stay in reality about it and try to investigate further. We don't always go, oh yeah, this is how it is and I have evidence of it. You know, this is just what we've experienced, and it's I don't know what that word is, I can't remember. It's an experience. a fact, yeah.
Yeah.
Hypothesis, if you will, theories. There is a theory about residual energy. It's called the stone tape theory, and that's what I was kind of talking about, where energy gets imprinted on stuff and then it just keeps playing over and over like a movie or a song on a vinyl record. So
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
So that's why
Okay.
you have residual hauntings where stuff will happen, but they don't actually interact with you. They're just there and they keep repeating on a loop.
Huh. This is so fascinating to me. I feel like I'm
is.
like in a classroom and it's just the two of us learning from you. Like I feel like I'm learning so much and it's so
That's good.
fascinating. And like I said, like I find it so fascinating. I always have, even when I was a kid. I've always find it so I was much more open to it when I was a kid because fear wasn't such a prominent thing. It isn't such a prominent thing when you're a kid. Now everybody's like, oh, we're not gonna mess with her because she's terrified out of her mind. All right, so Niecole, thank you so much for joining us on here. We've learned so much from you.
Anytime.
And
I love doing stuff like this for people. I love teaching about it. So
oh well, I've learned so much. I've learned so much, and thank you so much. So you go and do your booth that you have to do. Read
yes.
those tarot cards and enjoy it with your daughter.
Before you go, if you want to follow me, we do have a Facebook page. So you can find our team on Facebook.
What is it on Facebook?
It's Spiritus Rada. So if you look us up, you'll find it.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you,
Thanks,
Niecole.
Thank you. I had fun.
All right. Well, that was so much fun.
Sign you up for the next ghost hunt, right?
Okay, well, here's the thing is I still I need to prepare for this because we've learned so much from her today, but I still need to get over that fear of okay, I'm about to walk into a building that is haunted and there's probably going to be some activity and we're probably not going to stay in one room. We're probably going to go to multiple. And Kira, if you need to go down to a basement, you're going to have to do it, Kira. You're going to have to walk. You're going to have to go past the doorway. And
I mean, you don't have to.
You don't have to. But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, right? If I'm going to do it, I'm not going to chicken out.
That's the thing about the ghost hunt. You definitely don't want to be the one left behind.
No, I'm not. No. And here's the thing. So Ms. says, wait, so Kira and I have been doing video game ghost hunting wrong.
Hilarious.
The ghost hunting game, no. Video game ghost hunting, no. Actual ghost hunting, I believe so, because I've learned so much today. In Phasmophobia, the ghost can't get you outside. Once you leave the doorway, there is no way that they can get to you. True. I don't think that's realistic.
I don't think so either, but it would make sense that they're attached. Their spirits are attached to a general plane. So if they're inside.
So if you're outside that general plane, but there's also ghosts that can follow you in your car after you leave that place. So
spirits can attach themselves to you. That's she got into it a little bit, but that's something I've learned.
So it's Phasmophobia is kind of a little unrealistic, but it makes me even more terrified. Which is when another thing is when you go into one of the houses or there's a prison, a psych ward, and a high school.
Shocker, all right?
Terrifying. The psych ward's huge and it's kind of hard to play the game with. But the high school is the most terrifying to me because it is so realistic. The high school is so realistic. It's oh, kids were actually in this school and now it's abandoned and haunted.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, speaking of school, let me tell you. So I have a few stories. The big one that on where my high school is, next to it used to be a retirement home because what actually happened is downtown in my town, there was it's where the high school started, and then ironically enough, it became a retirement home. So they switched places, and then they put a retirement home on the property, and then they moved them to that old high school. So the retirement home was this old building that nobody took care of because it wasn't inhabited after that, and so it got dilapidated. So the school bought it, and then they turned it into a haunted mansion. What happened is because they didn't really take care of it, because that's what added to the feel, right? It was kind of sort of falling apart. Is birds and bats got in there, so then it became physically unsafe for people to be in there. So they shut it down, and it's since been demolished. I had classes with a kid that had been working in it since he was in middle school and was very tight with the people that ran the building. So he took us in there one night before they knocked it down to go on a tour of the place, because I don't do scary. So I never went to it while it was actually running. And it was cool. It was creepy. And they said, well, it's closing. So if you find anything, take it, because it's going to get knocked down anyway. So
Why? Why would you
Idiot.
take it?
Idiot. 100% idiot. So I took these two pieces of equipment that were basically sound distorters. They were little sound boxes, and they had a cord with a little microphone, and they're meant to, I think, amplify and distort sound so that you could shout whatever if you're running behind the hidden doors and create the sound. Not plugged in. It's a battery powered thing. No batteries. I took them as souvenirs, right? The next night, I am laying down in my bed. I have them next to my bed, and they go off. Like, they just make this random, extremely loud noise. Not like a blip, not like it's loud.
Stupid. So dumb.
No batteries. So I
You're
take them
such
out.
idiot.
No, I take them out to the garage, and they have since disappeared. Nobody remembers throwing them out. They just vanished.
You shouldn't have taken them, and they wanted them back. Listen, that was so stupid.
I completely agree. I 100% would advise me now never to do that. At
Which
the time,
it doesn't.
Yeah.
This is why you need to watch more scary movies, because not only I know that you don't do the scary, but you learn so much of what not to do. You don't walk into closets, you don't go into basements and attics, and you don't fucking take
I
anything.
already know all that.
Oh,
I know all
obviously,
that.
you took the shit from the place.
That was
You don't do it.
17-year-old me.
You don't do it. You don't do it.
It's like in the movie Saw, the scene that makes me so mad every time is the photographer. Spoiler alert, I guess, but the photographer in the first movie, the lights go off, so what does he do? He flashes his camera the entire way. He gets to the closet. What does he do? Does he flash? No. Does he swing the bat that he's got in his hand because it's just stupid fucking coats? No. He stands there and he gets stabbed in the neck. Idiot.
Listen, as far as Saw, Friday the 13th, Halloween, as far as those go, they only needed one. They only needed one. They didn't need 50 each. They only needed one. The only one that I think they did okay with more than one is Nightmare on Elm Street. As far as that realm of movies go.
Freddy Krueger's legitimately terrifying.
Oh, yeah. Haunting you in your dreams and killing you in your dreams. Absolutely.
Legitimately terrifying. Yes, I agree.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you, 13 Ghosts is really interesting. It's like Jurassic Park sort of meets a horror movie, and Matthew Lillard is just downright charming and awesome.
I'm really good about watching horror movies by myself in the daytime.
Yeah.
I can't watch them by myself in the nighttime because all I have is my cat. My cat is useless when it comes to that kind of stuff, and when it comes to killing bugs. But also when it comes to comforting.
Get a cat, yeah.
Yeah, very simple to take care of, and she's very loving when she wants to be. She doesn't attack me or anything. She's very sweet, except she doesn't do anything. She doesn't cuddle. She doesn't attack bugs. She doesn't look for stuff. She attacks things. She will throw something off a counter, but she doesn't it's just.
I don't know. It's probably smart for you not to watch horror movies then in the nighttime, because I think cats sort of sit on that middle line. Like, we know dogs would be in our camp, right? And if the horror movie thing happened, the dog is fully in the human camp. Cat, to me, more on the line. Your cat might just examine the odds and be like, who do I think's really going to win this?
Well, she's really smart though, and she really loves me. And I say that because she has never. I have to to do laundry and stuff. I have to leave my door open. Oh. She doesn't go out. She doesn't, she doesn't climb on anything. She lays in my pasta strainer and sleeps. Like, she's very calm and collected. She's very sweet, very, and I know she loves me because she'll wake me up at 2:00. As soon as I'm up, if I'm up at 2 a.m. or something, as soon as she knows I'm up, she's in my face wanting love, right? Like, she loves me and I get it. She would definitely, 1, not make it in the real world, and 2, she would definitely go with the ghost. She would totally go with the ghost. She would just be like, you know what? Kira is gonna just kill.
Gotta look out for numero uno.
Yeah, I think I have the better chance of making it with the ghost. All right, cool. And she's a great gray cat too. She's not black, but she's a gray cat. Yeah.
Has your cat ever done anything, since we've been talking about paranormal, that has not weirded you out? Because I don't think most people wrap their heads around it and freak out, but there's belief that pets, cats and dogs specifically, and I think also babies, have an ability to see things that adults cannot.
Yeah, so I no, I haven't seen her do anything, which is why I think that my apartment is fine.
That's fair.
But I think that she would if there was, because that's how she lets me know where things are. Like, she doesn't attack bugs or spiders or anything, but she'll stare at them until I'm like, "Oh, kitty,
Okay, so
I see." Or
she sees them, yeah.
right, and she'll stare at it, laser focused until I get to it. So
Okay,
she'll
so
she'll sit there and stare at it, and then I'll be like, "Oh, I see the bug," and then I kill it, and then she moves on. But
yeah.
she won't kill it herself. So I feel like
So
she would look at it.
yeah, no, that's fair. That seems reasonable. Did
Or
you ever do
them.
that Snapchat one? Did you ever see that video that person did where they had, I think it was the dog one, right? Where it identifies your face, puts the filter on, but then they were just sitting there and all of a sudden there was one right over their shoulder, but there was nobody there. You ever seen
I've
that
seen a
video?
few of those. I've seen a few of those.
Did you ever try that? I tried it once
No,
and I was terrified the whole time.
no, I've never tried that. I'm not stupid. But I have seen other people try it. I've seen other people try it. I've seen their videos, and to see like the doggy ears in the background, or like the
Mm-mm.
kitty ears in the
I would.
background, or
Oh my
the
gosh.
face in the back. Get out. Get
Yep.
out of here.
Yes.
I don't need to know. If they're not having any activity,
That's fair.
and even if they are here, if they have no activity, the less I know, the better. I don't need to know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Ignorance is a great place to live. I was just curious if
Bliss.
you'd ever attempted it.
No, I'm not dumb. I don't take things from places either. I'm not dumb. Nope.
Is now a good time to mention, speaking of spirits, how to say this? I may or may not know someone who, again, may or may not now possess a piece of, let's say, antiquities of ancient history. Let's say there's one in Rome that's very famous. They might have a rock from that. Let's say there's a couple of structures.
Are you stupid?
Look, I know this person. I didn't say it was me.
Are they stupid?
Maybe nothing's happened.
First of all, okay, allegedly.
Yeah,
Are
it's
they
like-
stupid? So you're telling me that they have ancient artifacts of some sort. Allegedly, they have ancient
Allegedly.
artifacts, and one, allegedly, I think that's illegal. Two, allegedly, I think that that's not smart if you're thinking paranormally, because what if some ancient Roman from the 1500s is attached to it? You say you're not into horror movies and you hate scary stuff, but
I
you're
am,
doing
in
it
fact.
to yourself, AJ.
I am not the one, first of all, again, that allegedly has these things. Second of all, to answer
They're
your
doing it to themselves.
other question, it would be 100% fascinating, because how many people died in the Colosseum or constructing the pyramids? Interesting. Just saying.
The
it's interesting.
pyramids. All these people are stupid. Oh my god, that is so dumb, because aren't the pyramids like being investigated to be connected to aliens, and like, so not only is it paranormal now, but now I'm sorry, now they're connecting it to extraterrestrial life outside of this planet, which yes, I do believe that they do exist.
100%.
So how dare they do this?
So, fun fact, I completely coincidentally also happened to recently be in Egypt, and they do not take kindly to that accusation. They hate that. Like, I went and saw the pyramids of Giza. They explain how they built them. They are very annoyed by the notion that they were not built by humans.
So it's just a coincidence that they are perfectly lined up with the brightest stars in the sky,
Apparently,
or the brightest stars or the planets. One of them.
I think it's stars, right?
One
I
of
think it's
them.
stars. But
Sure.
yeah, they get very upset. Like, one of the first things they said on the tour was like, people say aliens, humans.
Okay, first of all, aliens are real. Okay, I
Well, he's
think
not saying they're not, and I agree.
Well,
they
I know,
are
I
real.
know, I know, I know, I know, but it's going to my next point. So first of all, Aliens are real, right? I think that aliens are real. Second of all, there has to be some connection to said real things on this planet. And if it's not something as big and known as that, what are they connected to? Like Area 51, seriously? Are we connected with Area? Like, what are we connected to then? Because there has to be, we know
I
they
like
exist.
I like the Assassin's Creed theory, which is that Atlantis existed and human
Underwater?
well, just the no, it wasn't underwater, but mankind used to exist in a way that was technologically even more advanced than it was now. And then there was a huge event that cataclysmically wiped everything off the planet, and then it started over.
So instead of dinosaurs, it was us.
No, dinosaurs came after. Like Atlantis, Atlantis is usually the notion of where the pinpoint of this civilization was, but it was a much more advanced civilization than it is now. But then something happened and everything got cleared off the planet, and then we started over again.
Gotcha.
I like that theory. We're in we're down the rabbit hole now, but we were there, and I wanted my opinion on this. No.
I know. I want your opinion. I want your opinion about the alleged things that were taken from the alleged spaces that you happen to also be at.
Why are you gonna do me dirty like that? Why would you do that?
That's what you said.
It's a piece of history. It is a piece of history.
Allegedly, these people are dumb.
If you believe in the paranormal, yeah, there's probably something in about that. I think especially tied to Egypt. Let's be honest. The temples aren't really. There's no like coaxing what those things are about. Some shady stuff happened there.
I don't trust these people anymore. I feel like
judgment.
I think there needs to be some help. Like these people need help. Allegedly. I'm not about it. You don't take stuff. Didn't they learn their lesson when they were allegedly 17? Like you don't take stuff. God.
They're still here. They're still here for these alleged thefts.
Whatever. So moving to something more less irritating. So you said that you have not seen very many Halloween movies.
Correct. I have seen at all. I have seen Halloween Town. My fiance made me watch Mom's Dating a Vampire. She says that's a Halloween movie.
Fair.
And I have watched both of those in like the last 4 to 6 months.
Okay. So I'm all for Halloween movies. I love Halloween movies. They are Halloween is when I thrive. As you can see, I will not do this for Christmas.
I would say you just say you're Jack Skellington and you could just do the same thing.
It's the freaking best, right? So I love Halloween. Fall, favorite season. I thrive. Halloween movies are the best, both Disney and other. But there is one that reigns supreme that I make all of my friends, all of my family watch at least once because I think it's funny. I think it is necessary for pop culture references and for being cultured in general, and that is Hocus Pocus.
Can I just say, no one ever explained to me, I say the phrase, damn, double damn. No one has ever explained where that phrase comes from. I say it. It's in that movie.
Yes.
See?
Yes. So, you just watched Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, Kira made me watch it.
I did. I made him watch it because
threat of physical violence.
I did not. Wow, alleged 17-year-old you needs to freaking learn a lesson. Okay. Allegedly, I said you need to watch Hocus Pocus and also dress up for the stream later.
The second one is not my fault.
I didn't say it was. You didn't do one for whatever reason. I said, but you also, it was a few hours ago. I was like, you have 4 hours to do whatever you got to do and watch Hocus Pocus.
It was
By
3
the
hours.
time when I started telling you, yes, by the time you got to the point where you were like, okay, it was
verbal
an hour
threats.
later. No, not verbal threats. You're really bad at this alleged stuff. No, I did not. I said you have 3 hours to do whatever you need to do and watch Hocus Pocus. And you did. And I am very proud of you. But now I need a review. I need your Rotten Tomatoes 0 to 100. And I need a brief review, general review, without giving away the ending. Because some people have still not seen it. Those poor souls.
More physical violence. So I gotta say, in terms of the review, it's gonna be physical. We know it's physical violence. I really enjoy the fact, Halloween Town. Correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but I feel like one of the things that Hocus Pocus that's great about it that Halloween Town doesn't. Halloween Town is so campy. It's so hokey, whereas Hocus Pocus is legitimately a movie. It's a feel-good kids movie, but it's a better movie.
Have you seen more than just the first Halloween Town?
I have not.
Okay, so the second, is there 3 or 4? I think there's 4. So the second through the 4th one are better than the first.
That's good to know. Okay, well, I was told to watch the first one because it's also a classic.
It is a classic, and you do need to be cultured on it. However, I think 2 through 4 are the best. I like the 4th the best because by the time I got to watching all of them, I was already a little older and I could relate to it better, but they change actresses. So it's kind of a little weird. But the second and third one are really good as well. And they have all the other same actors too. So I think you need to watch 2 through 4 before you do that. But okay, continue.
Regardless, I would pay it as a compliment because Hocus Pocus, while we're talking about horror movies, which it is not, obviously, it feels it's a fluid movie. Like, I think the trick with the daylight savings is clever. I think the characters generally make sense, though. What's his face? The boy initially, I think, is a little bit over the top, which the plot convenience of why he's the one that starts the chain of events. He's literally over the top, but whatever. I get it, as I'm in his role anyway. As
the virgin.
Yeah. That joke is played out so much, by the way, for a kids movie. They cannot help themselves how many times they say that word. There are
so many adult jokes in this movie. But
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Much like most kid movies.
Yes. The parents need to be
I do enjoy the fact that it's a little bit. Now I'm gonna go back to me studying film. It's nice that it's a nice refrain from the person in trouble, even though they're hunting the little kid, to be the virgin was the boy and not the girl every time, right? It's the girl, it's the damsel in distress. Whereas what's her face? I didn't remember anybody's names. What's her face is very much a strong character of this movie.
What's her face?
The teenager.
Mm-hmm. I'm not telling you anybody's names. You're supposed to keep up with it.
I watched it once and then had to go do something. I've seen the movie, don't remember the characters' names.
I'm just happy you've seen the movie. That's
Allison,
funny.
right? Allison,
very good. And the little girl's name is?
Oh God, I'm gonna mix them both up. The first one was Sarah.
No. Okay, so that's a witch.
Shit.
Danny. Danny. Her name is Danny.
Okay, Danny. By the way, she is delightful. By the way, as a character, I think she's probably my favorite character in the movie. The witches are great.
Witty.
I mean, yes, and that's why I love her. It's refreshing to have a witty kid, because I feel like it's so often that's what's nice about the 3 kid roles, is that they're not written in a way that is common in every other freaking movie.
Okay, very true, very true. The Sanderson sisters are also amazing. I mean, you can't go wrong with Sarah Jessica Parker and Bette Midler.
I agree. I love the memes. The memes make sense because I didn't see the movie, but I love the memes about how in life you go through the 3 witches, because you're 100% Sarah, and then you're it's not Tilly. Or is Tilly? It's Tilly, right in the middle?
No, so it's no, it's not Tilly. It's you're Sarah, and then you're oh my god. I'm drawing a
It's
blank.
contagious, right?
I know their real names. Hold on. Hold on. Internet. Winifred. Winnie.
Yeah, Winnie. That's
So you're
Winnie.
Sarah, then you're
Yeah, you're
Winnie, and
Winnie,
then you're Mary.
and then yeah, yes, 100% true.
Although I'm Sarah still. I've been Sarah for a minute.
You're I'm on the end. I've made my witch run. I hate everybody.
Oh,
They're
you're still Winifred. Okay, that's fine.
they're funny. I like the movies. I don't feel like it drags. It doesn't feel like there's a second where the plot thing is. I like the twist ending, or not the twist ending, but I like the twist with the car lights. I thought was clever in a way that, because part of me at the time was like, I doubt they're using like real watches, so they're not. What, this isn't gonna work. And then it made sense. I was, oh, okay, you got me too, because I was like, this doesn't make any sense. It's good. It was good.
I'm so happy. So Rotten Tomatoes score 0 for 100, or 0 to 100. What is your score?
Here's my problem: is I think part of the attachment everybody has to this, they saw it as a kid, and as an adult, I think it's delightful. But like, I don't have the same attachment to it.
Score, and then I will rebuttal that.
What score? I don't know.
What's your score?
Somewhere in the
0 to 100.
It's above 50. I don't know. 70, 72.
70.
I want it to be a weird number. No, 72. It needs to be a weird number.
72.
70 sounds fake.
72. Okay, I will take 72. I think that is valid for a kids movie. I saw it the first time as a kid, but I was terrified of the movie
Really?
as a kid. I did not see it as a comedy when I was a kid. I saw it as a scary movie when I was a kid. So it was very terrifying to me, and I would have nightmares about witches trying to take my soul.
I can see
for
that.
weeks. I was terrified about
because that's the nice thing the movie does. There are definitely moments where it's like a kid's movie, but the other thing is I don't feel like the comedy is like hokey is the word I would use. Like, they have their funny moments, and there are sections where it gets not bogged down, but it's a hokey kids movie, but it feels like it runs like a normal movie.
It does.
If that makes sense to people, I think you'd get it. If it doesn't, I don't know how to better explain
it. You can relate to it as a kid and as an adult, because there's references for both to understand, and it's just a movie. And because it's a Disney movie, even more so. But when I got older, I started to relate to like different characters as I got older, so I had a different perspective. But at the same time, I was like, oh, this is supposed to be a comedy. This is a Disney comedy. This isn't even a Disney scary movie. What? Like, they play it during Halloween, obviously, because it's a Halloween movie, but it's supposed to be a comedy. Like, Winifred's freaking hilarious. Like, you're supposed to be laughing at it. I'm over here, like, crying to my mom at midnight because I can't sleep because I think a witch is going to take my soul.
Oh God, what is his name in the show? It's not. What's Sabrina the Teenage Witch's cat's name? It's not Winston, is it? Salem. Gee, I knew it was something to do with it. Salem, major Salem vibes for what do they call him? Binks?
For Binks.
Right? He's got a little.
Is wittier.
Not quite as over the top with the sassiness, but there's a little bit of cat sass there.
Very witty too. And for Beans, the spirit that is in his, like, the character that is in the cat is from the 1600s, 1700s, whatever, 1600s, I think.
Yeah.
And he's still very, like,
culturally aware.
He talked like he's been around for 400 years, right? So, like, obviously he'd have a lot of time to catch up with culture, but at the same time, you're a cat. Like, how much culture can you catch up on as a cat?
One boy just flipping through television.
Yeah. Also being around for so long, how many Dannys did he have? Like, Danny was his last, so that's like the most precious to him, right? Because she was his owner, but like good best friend, the last best friend he had.
Right.
But how many? There's 400 years in between then and when he turned into a cat. So, like, how many Dannys were there?
That's a good question. I didn't think about that. That's fair, because he says in the movie that he guards it just specifically on that day. So he's got 360 for other days where he's got time to kill. He's got time to kill.
Exactly. He's got time to kill, and he's just roaming the streets. Like, there has to be somebody that was like, "Oh, this kitty is so cute. Let me." Like, whenever they started domesticating cats, they're just like, "Oh my god, look at the kitty! It's so cute." And then he starts to talk, and it's like, maybe not.
So I gotta ask you, because we're here. It was one of the first things that my fiance clocked when we thought we were gonna move to Maine. Um, you moved out to the East Coast before I did. Have you gone to Salem yet?
No. It is on my bucket list. I want to go to Salem, Massachusetts. It is a very historical site. The problem is that I know somebody who went there for the same thing. Wanted to see the history of it, wanted to do the touristy things. When he came back, he told me it is too touristy, he thinks. I think I would still get a lot out of it. I think that it would still be really nice to at least go see and say that I've been to Salem and see all of the the grave sites and stuff. But I think if it's too touristy, one, there's going to be too many people. We got to pick a day, that would be, less traffic, because otherwise it's going to take away from it. And two, again, if it's too touristy, it's all a museum. It's a tour. It's you can't, depending on the level of touristy stuff.
No, I get you. The place like that, you kind of want to be left to your druthers. Yes, it would be nice to have someone to talk to, but you kind of just want to explore on your own.
Exactly.
I got you. I think that's what my fiance knows someone who got married there. And everybody wants to go there, obviously, this time of year, which is probably the absolute worst time of year to go, because since we both live in New England, the other thing is that this time of year we get visitors because the leaves are beautiful, and they are.
They're gorgeous.
It's one of those things.
Side note, the leaves are the size of my face.
Yes. It's one of those things. It's like, I don't know. Did you ever go to, where I lived in Utah was a mountain valley. It's part of the Rocky Mountain chain. And so I go there, and you're going to live among mountains, and you think, I've seen mountains, but then you go see they're actual mountains, and it's entirely different. It's the same thing here. Everyone talks about how New England has beautiful leaves, and they're like, whatever, it's fucking leaves, who gives it? And then you get here and like, no, okay, I get it's just on a different level.
The trees are 12 different colors.
It's true.
For real, and it's not coloring.
Real oranges and real, yes, I agree.
Yes, it is.
I agree.
So beautiful. I'm from a desert, and it is all there's no snow really. Like, when there's snow, it's like, oh my god. When it rains, it's like, oh my god. Like, there's 2 seasons maybe. And here there's not only all 4 seasons, and my body's going through it, but the trees are 12 different colors. Nope. The leaves are the size of my face, and they're everywhere. Yep. Everywhere. And I've seen more of those the weathering trucks that try to empty the road. Either it's plow trucks, but there's one for leaves, and then there's one for snow. So there's one for leaves that goes through the residential areas to make sure that all of the leaves are taken out. And there's piles everywhere. And then there's a snow plow, obviously, that paves the roads. But there's a leaf plow.
I don't know that I've seen that. I've lived in Indiana has the seasons. New Mexico did. Where I lived in New Mexico didn't have the seasons. I don't know that we had a leaf plow truck. It doesn't surprise me there's one here, because what you said, the leaves are huge, and they are legitimately everywhere.
They're so big.
While we're making fake plans that won't happen because I'm a figment of your imagination, we live, I think, 2 hours from the Vermont, New Hampshire area. And it is, if you think that where you're at is gorgeous, let me tell you, we drove through them. It's better. So next year, you gotta come.
Speaking of figment of my imagination, I met you at Morning Show Boot Camp in Chicago, and I am convinced. Let me finish. I am convinced that it was a dream. I'm convinced that it was a fever dream, and I made it all up in my head, because I haven't seen you since, and you have not even been in the country. So I'm thinking that you made up going to a different country to try to make me think that you went to a different country, and instead you're just not real.
I well, I can't prove that. This is to say I may or may not allegedly have items from both of the places I visited, but if I like Hawaii, I brought back a bag of sand, but what's the proof? Like, it's sand. It's not like I got stamped or anything, so I can't.
Is this illegal? Can you
Sand
not
is
say this
not.
stuff on stream?
Sand is it's not illegal to take sand from Hawaii. They expect you to take sand from Hawaii.
They tell you to?
They don't tell you to. They expect you to. We ran through. You have to run through like they're very secure. You have to run through like that bag that had the sand in it ran through I think 4 X-rays. So it's not like they didn't catch it. They don't care. It's sand.
Well, yeah, it's sand, but like it's like precious. It's Hawaii sand. It's Hawaiian sand.
There are
Precious
places that
sand.
freak out about it because I've been on 3 of the islands now. And when I went snorkeling on the big island, which is called Hawaii, we went to a white sand and a black sand beach as opposed to the your sand colored sand. And so we wanted to bring some home because you don't see it. And the lady there, who was not from Hawaii, so got a plate up for the tourists, kept saying over and over again, "Oh, it's bad. You're gonna be cursed." Blah 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 blah. Nah, nah, nah. My mom loves that stuff because she went with us, and so she's like, "You're gonna be cursed." Blah, 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 blah. As far as I know, we didn't get cursed.
I'm so glad that you didn't get cursed because you keep taking things, and
I only took sand. Other people allegedly took things.
These alleged other people need to stop taking shit that's not theirs because it's gonna. Yeah, like you say, it's all fun and games until something happens.
It'll be a cool story.
What else is a cool story? Is that thank you, Davinas? Is that how you say that? Davinas?
I would, yeah, that's a good guess to me.
Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're gonna get cursed one of these days, and it's gonna be all your fault.
While we're talking about paranormal, speaking of getting cursed for taking stuff from Egypt, at the place I used to work, there was a guy who went to Hawaii, and he went snorkeling, and he took rocks from underwater, and he brought them up, and someone there told him, "Do not take those away from the Hawaiian Islands. You will be cursed." To which he responded the way all white people respond and say, "Whatever." So he took them. Then his life back on the mainland was not a good time. So they decided, this guy decided he was going to take it back. I believe it was the week, if I remember the story correctly, it's probably been exaggerated a little bit to this point. The week before he was going to fly back to Hawaii to take the rocks back, car crash, died.
Are you like, okay, you hear these stories.
Okay? I didn't hear that story until like I'd already worked there for a couple of years.
Okay, you hear this story, right? And then you hear about these alleged people who take things from these alleged places that you also happen to allegedly been to as well. And
correct as far, yes.
And you don't learn anything from these stories that you hear? Like you just take things? I'm sorry. These alleged people just take things?
I nor these alleged people have had any experiences that has felt like anything has been cursed or any of that. So wait, I didn't take rocks from underwater in Hawaii, so I didn't follow that same path. There was no voodoo person waiting nearby to say, "Hey, by the way, don't do that. It's bad."
There was nobody to tell you not to take anything from anywhere else either. There was just
no, let's not. No, yeah.
AJ,
Kira,
why are these people taking shit that doesn't belong to them?
Because if I had to guess, and I don't know, if I had to guess, they and members of their family probably have a huge love of history, and so it was a piece of history they felt like they could have as an amazing souvenir that beats all the cliche bull crap that are always sold at souvenir stands, and were able to give their family members, allegedly, again, this is all speculation, allegedly give their family members something that no one else could top.
Buy a magnet. Don't.
No, see, that's the cliche kitschy crap.
At least you're not cursed.
Actually, you want to know what I think did it? So the last 2 times I've been to Europe, You know what I mean? The last 2 times I've been to Europe, I went to Amsterdam and Belgium, and then I went to Switzerland and France. When we were in Belgium, we had to stop to get it before we can come home. We had to get a COVID test, right? Surprisingly, to
Okay.
do the rapid one, right? So you go, you fill out your paperwork. It's done through this bus station, is where they had it in Belgium. You fill out your paperwork. You go, you wait in line. You go onto one of those mobile health buses. They shove the thing up your nose. You wait. You get the results. So while we're standing there, because a bunch of people have scheduled them before they fly back to their various places, this woman comes up who I would describe as like an old gypsy woman from a movie. Like she's got the black shawl around her head, she's got the full robes. She's an older lady. It's weathered. It looks like she's seen some things. So she comes up, and I don't speak the language, but she's clearly making the motion for change. For this trip, I'm not making this up. For this trip, we did not take cash because in those countries, cards are super accessible. So we didn't have any. I legitimately did not have any, but I also don't understand what she's saying. So 3 different instances for a 10-minute period. There's a ghost in Kira's house. 3
I
different
hear
instances
fireworks.
over a 10-minute period. She asks me, and I say no. We're standing in a circle. She walks away. We're standing in a circle. She walks somewhere else. She walks back into my view, stops, turns and looks at me, and does this motion. And then walks away. And all I can think was, did I just get cursed? Is that what just happened?
Isn't that in a movie?
I gotta take Madame Zeroni up the mountain. Is that what's happening right now?
It's because alleged people that have happened to be in the same place that you have been, allegedly, take shit. So one of these
So you get
times,
cursed in a different
doing
country?
doing something is going to get you in trouble.
Maybe. It's happened both the last 2 trips I have been on. That lady did that, and then in the last trip, again, another lady was asking for that. I don't have anything, and then I got not the same, not as dramatic, but I got the same with a very not. I can't sell the smile, but a not positive smile.
I can't deal with any more stupidity, so we're gonna end it here. AJ, this is gonna be a new segment every Saturday, starting today, obviously, and it's gonna
Allegedly
be different.
Cursed, allegedly stupid.
Allegedly stupid? No, you are stupid. It's just for multitude of reasons.
Wow.
But I adore you, and thank you for doing the segment with me. And it's going to be so much fun. This was so much fun. Of course, and it's going to be collaborative segments every week, and it's also going to be an audio episode every Tuesday. I might upload this one on Monday, depending, so that it's out for Halloween. But it is going to be every Tuesday after that. Where can people find you on social and all that good stuff to just get started?
Oh yeah, it's wrong side. The AJ Knight is all my stuff. TikTok, it's hard with the camera the other way, but yeah, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, it's all there. Website,
the AJ Knight.
The AJ Knight, yeah.
Yeah, the AJ Knight, but minus the second E.
Look, I'm pompous about a few things, and apparently these is one of them.
These is one of them.
The plural.
All right, we're done. See you next week. All right, let's do. First of all, we got a few viewers, so we're gonna do this thing called rating. I don't know if you've ever seen a stream before, AJ.
Ooh,
I don't know if
excited
you've
to take part in this.
But we're gonna raid. However, the problem that I have here is that to raid, problem is that there's what happened to my raid?
I'm the one that's cursed.
Damn it! Shut up. What is your issue? Why? What is your issue? No, that's not what I want. I want. Can I raid? Can I raid? Can I raid? Raid? Raid. No, raid is not. Why is raid not a thing? Why is raid not a thing? Mod actions? Nope, that's not it. Why is quick actions? Listen, I do this every week, and right now I can't figure out why my raid button isn't working. Why is my raid button not working?
Cursed.
Who cursed it?
Not me.
That's a damn lie.
I wouldn't know how to do that to begin with.
You, not this specifically, but I'm sure your existence because you're so dumb. Why would you? Allegedly, why would you take shit? There it is. Found it. We're gonna raid Cleve. That's gonna be the move. I will see y'all tomorrow. We're gonna play some Phasmo to wrap up spooky season and Halloween season. And since there will be no stream on Monday, that will be our last is tomorrow. Thank you, AJ, for being your great, stupendous, stupid self, and I appreciate and adore you. We will both see you next Saturday.
Yes.
All right. And this is going to. Why is this taking so long? Everything is just broken, AJ. This is all your fault.
Allegedly, yeah.
And now we're rated. Oh, this is fun.